Have you found yourself navigating a dark night of the soul? Are you craving a deeper connection with the divine feminine? Are you ready to integrate the balanced union of the masculine and feminine within? Then let's get started on the journey towards wholeness to reclaim your sovereign soul. My name is Cynthia Clarke. Over the past several decades, I have undergone many dark nights of the soul. My healing journey has been a reclamation of my sovereign divinity. Whether you're just starting out on your self-healing journey or have been exploring techniques for many years, Discover Divinity offers an opportunity to uncover the new possibilities for discovering and reclaiming the innate wisdom within. It is time to discover the new possibilities. It is time to discover you. Have you ever felt like something is missing in your life? True well-being isn't one-dimensional. It's multifaceted. The journey to wholeness involves nurturing every aspect of being: body, heart, mind, spirit, energy, and relationships. In today's episode, the facets of wholeness, aligning with a holistic path to health, healing, and self-discovery, we are exploring interconnected facets, and those interconnected facets that provide you with actionable tools to bring harmony and healing to each area of your life. Whether you're just beginning your holistic healing journey or looking for new ways to enhance your well-being, this episode offers the guidance you need to create a life of balance and empowerment. Tune in now to discover how to align your body, heart, mind, spirit, energy, and relationships to achieve true healing and health. Welcome to the Discover Divinity Podcast, Reclaim Your Sovereign Soul. I'm your host, Cynthia Clarke, founder of Discover Divinity and discoveringdivinity.com. In today's episode, we are getting into the facets of wholeness, the interconnected areas of our being that shape who we are in body, heart, mind, spirit, energy, and relationships. Humans are multifaceted beings, and to truly experience this well-being, we get to approach our healing from a holistic level and understanding that these facets don't function in isolation. They work together like instruments in an orchestra, creating beautiful harmony in our lives. So make sure you grab a notebook and pen, because as we go along, I will be guiding you with some reflective journaling questions to take the tools that you're learning today even deeper on your holistic healing journey. But before we explore the practical tools that you can use to nurture each one of these facets, I wanted to share a little bit about why this work is so important to me personally and how it shaped my journey toward healing. Now, in the first podcast episode, I shared a little bit about some early childhood trauma that I experienced. And it was in that rooted experience that impacted my health for many, many years to come. And at the early age of age 4, I started to have some different symptoms that showed up that would later be diagnosed as 5 autoimmune disorders. Now, these autoimmune disorders left me feeling trapped in my body, and it felt as if my body were betraying me. There were times in my life that I didn't know if I would live or die, and it really was in this fierce determination and in different parts of my life that I fought for my right to live. And it was in my early 20s that many medical doctors started to just push drugs into my system. They would prescribe one, and then one would create another side effect, upon which they would give me another drug and another drug and another drug. And at this point, I had reached such a state of discouragement and frustration, because it was at that point in time that I also came into a space of advocacy for myself and realized that the drugs that were being put into my body were actually causing more harm and more trauma. And so I went on a research project of sorts and did everything that I could to uncover and peel back autoimmune disorders, as well as many of the anxiety aspects that came along with that experience. And so because that was not the answer for me, I began to go on this healing journey, this holistic healing journey, where I began to find the very intricate pieces to my blueprint that in turn would help me find healing. It really, truly was a miracle in my life to come into that space. And so as I began to explore more holistic healing practices that go just, beyond this physical realm of health, was when I discovered this process of being able to heal fully and to be able to tune in to the innate wisdom of our bodies and the ability that we do have to heal. And I can tell you that this journey has not been easy. I have learned so many things through the many, many decades that I've been doing this work. And through the healing process, through those miracles, came my passion, came the part of me and that within myself, this pure love that I had for others and the desire to be able to help others going through similar things was really that foundation of the business of Discover Divinity and discoveringdivinity.com that was bringing so many individuals into their own blueprint, their own process. And remember, each individual is so unique. So what may work for one person may not work for the other. And so being able to tune into that part of the journey is so important, and learning how to be an advocate for yourself. And so this is really part of a great part of my passion on the planet, is being able to assist individuals to become not only their own intuitive healers, but also their advocates for their holistic healing journey. And so it really is my passion. As always, I am here as a holistic health coach, as well as energy practitioner, as well as intuitive guide, and also a rapid eye technician, to begin to help you begin to tune into those parts and pieces that you may not see for yourself, to help you start to put those puzzle pieces together and find that rhythm through these facets of wholeness to find your greatest healing. So let's get started into each facet and discover how you can begin to nurture these areas of your life and heal and thrive in every aspect of your being. So let's get started with the body. Our bodies are a vessel and a complex system that is made up of countless cells that support life. It's so essential to nurture our bodies, as they house our mind, our heart, our spirit, and our conduits between the communication of the energy field to the body. And many of you probably have heard of Dr. Bruce Lipton. He is the author of The Biology of Belief, but he says something that reminds us the body is the mind. What you believe about your body influences how it responds. So being able to provide positive thoughts in turn will impact our bodies. And so here are some actionable tools I wanted to be able to share with you. And because I have been on decades of a research project, especially to help the processes of autoimmune disorders, number one, so important, is eating whole, nutrient-dense foods. And sometimes that can feel super overwhelming. I get it, especially with a standard American diet. There are so many foods that are quick processed foods, and they're easy. And it is sometimes hard and difficult especially when you're used to fast and foods that are filled with sugar, fat, and salt, to step away from those addictive components that our body tends to create a pattern and a habit of craving. But as an individual who has risen above autoimmune and really found true healing, this is one of the most important steps that I could not emphasize anymore, for those of you dealing with autoimmune disorders, but also those who are dealing with components of mental disorders or parts of those pieces that may be affecting if you're having more anxiety or stress in your life. When we start to take out the chemicals and we start to take out those things that are triggering an inflammatory response, the body is able to calm down. The mind and the brain are able to calm down. And when we look at the energetic components of whole, nutrient-dense foods, those vibratory fields are what our body desires and craves in order to heal and to be healthy. So using nutrient-rich foods as much as you can, eliminating those chemicals, the refined sugars, the refined carbohydrates, and replacing them with the whole grain foods, the vegetables, the fruits, the lean proteins, the healthy fats. And these not only help our bodies to reduce the inflammatory response, they actually help you promote energy in the body, help with mood, and then it also helps that immune system start to be able to work and defend the way that it was supposed to. Something else, we hear this all the time, right? But exercise is so important. And many times when there are autoimmune components or perhaps perspectives of chronic fatigue or pain, it can be incredibly difficult to get out and move. But moving your body is so essential for your physical and mental health, as well as that lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is so connected to our immune system. And when we can pump that through the system and allow our detoxing mechanisms in the body to do what they were designed to do, we can get through difficult times much easier. And so you don't have to go and be a bodybuilder or do some high impact training, but walking is one of the most powerful forms of exercising. Yoga, you can even do smaller bouts of strength training. And when we incorporate that, the body can use daily releases through the exercises to release endorphins. It reduces stress and it helps improve our overall health. So another part of the tools that I'm sharing today has to do with sleep and rest. And I realize some of these things can feel so simple, but they're not super easy, especially when we are connected to a high-speed technological perspective of society today. It can be difficult to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night, and especially with someone who is dealing with components of autoimmune or perhaps mental interferences. Getting the larger amounts of sleep are even more important. And so removing some of those lights at night can help the brain start to calm down. So not using your phone after a certain amount of time, like helping the body come into a more balanced space of circadian rhythm. So even like turning off big overhead lights at night is super supportive, so your body can actually get the signal that we are getting ready to go to bed. And if you're on a screen at night, this puts a message into the brain that it still wants to be awake. And so it can be very, very difficult to get into a space of REM. And REM is super important for overall immune health and our cognitive function, as well as our emotional well-being. The last one that I'm going to share today in our body is to hydrate. Now, hydration, sometimes people will drink and drink and drink, and they still feel incredibly parched. They feel so thirsty. They just don't ever feel like they're drinking enough. And sometimes, depending on your quality of water, it may mean that you're not getting a full process of hydration, because maybe there are certain things that have been removed from your water, depending on what you're drinking and the source. But when we go through a process of reverse osmosis, it's a great thing that we can do for our water, because it removes those chemicals that can be so toxic and contribute to autoimmune disorders and mental health conditions. But when we remove that water process through the reverse osmosis, we're taking out a lot of those important minerals. And so you're always going to want to make sure that if you do have reverse osmosis, that you're either using some Celtic sea salt or some type of high dose of minerals to get that back into your body. But proper hydration is super important for maintaining these energy levels that every person desires, as well as that mental clarity. So at the beginning, I mentioned that I was going to share with you reflective questions at each point of our facet. And so I'm going to share 4 journaling questions that I invite you to maybe write down or come back into the podcast and to really reflect on this as you're moving forward. Because a holistic healing journey isn't an overnight process. This is something that we work out continually. And so whether you're just starting out or you've been doing this for years, there's always room for us to be able to look at where we're at and kind of tune into these facets and find out where we can improve, or we can lean in and listen and find out what we need. So number 1 is, how do I treat my body on a daily basis? Number 2, do I listen to my body's needs, or do I often push through discomfort or fatigue? Number 3, how do I feel physically right now? Am I experiencing any discomfort or tension? And what do I need to change in my daily routine to better nurture my physical health? That may be a point in the podcast episode that you want to push pause and go back and listen to each one of those questions individually. But those are to just get you started on your holistic healing journey. And as we work together individually in sessions, this is something I'm able to help you hone in on, especially when things can feel incredibly overwhelming. Sometimes when we're trying to look at the whole entire elephant, it can feel very overwhelming and we don't really know where to start. And so this is where I can help facilitate as a holistic health coach, but also intuitive guide, to help you really pinpoint and know where to get started, and maybe also help you peel back maybe some of those things that you're not seeing that may be connected to some deeper layers or some deeper traumas or deeper wounds that are connected to some of these physical imbalances that are showing up in the body. Because many of the physical illnesses and diseases that we have are connected to our traumas. Just like I shared at the beginning, the early childhood trauma that I experienced had then began to show up in autoimmune conditions. And it was really in that body facet that when I started to take better care of my body, that was one of those very critical pieces of the puzzle, the blueprint. But it also came in peeling back and uncovering what was at the root of some of those physical imbalances. And so that's where we're going to get in to some of these deeper layers in the next facets that I'm getting into. So the heart is the center of our emotions, and it's essential to heal the wounds that we carry. According to Dr. John Gottman, a renowned relationship expert, he says, emotions are the key to making relationships work. So not only in the relationships with others, but the relationship with ourselves and the relationship with our body. when we allow ourselves to process and release repressed emotions, we can heal and open our hearts to love and connection. So I'm going to share with you 3 tools, and then we're going to go through a few of the reflective journaling questions that you can ask yourself. But one of the tools are emotional release techniques. Something like rapid eye is so amazing and important, and this is one of my great passions. It's part of the scientific aspect of what I do to be able to help your body go into a space of REM to begin to access some of those deeper layers that exist in the heart, the mind, the body, the spirit, the energy field. And it works intrinsically, just like that harmony that I was talking about before, to begin to help your body release on an emotional level. It also helps the other facets so beautifully and so well. But as far as emotional release, this rapid eye process is incredibly powerful. I also have a process that I'll include on my Discover Divinity website and my blog to be able to help you write, use a really easy writing process to help you also release heavy emotions that you're feeling. And they're super powerful. Like I said, the rapid eye process is awesome. I love using that with my clients, and also being able to empower my clients to be able to use tools on their own so that they can become the masters of their healing. And it really does help free the heart from those past wounds. Another part of these tools that I would like to share is self-compassion. We many times are taught to be kind to others, but some of the wounds that we carry come into a space of self-rejection or self-hatred. And when we can start to recognize some of the processes or wounds or traumas that got us there, we can rewire, but then also use the space of self-compassion, kindness towards self when we face heavy challenges, and speaking to ourselves like we are our own best friend. And when we practice self-compassion, it really does foster emotional healing, and it strengthens our ability to navigate life's difficulties so much easier. And one last tool that I wanted to share for the heart facet is being able to allow yourself to fully experience and express your emotions. So whether you're talking or crying or you have creative outlets, this practice of expressing your emotion helps prevent emotional blockages and supports healing. I work with so many individuals at this particular time that come from generations and generations of time of repression, generations and generations of time of people that have been people pleasers, that have stuffed and were never allowed or felt safe to use their voice. And so being able to feel safe to use your voice, but also feel safe to feel your emotions, whatever that may be, is an incredibly transformational process. So engaging in these heart-centered practices can help you open yourself up to more self-love and compassion and emotional freedom, but also opening you up and to be able to offer that love to others. So here are your journaling questions. Number 1, what emotions have I been avoiding or suppressing? Number 2, do I give myself permission to feel my emotions fully, or do I often try to control them? Number 3, how open am I to receiving love from others? Number 4, do I tend to hold on to past hurt, or am I able to release it and heal? Now let's move on to the mind. The mind is such a powerful tool, but most of us only use a fraction of its true potential. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza explains in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, your personality creates your personal reality. Our thoughts, emotions, and belief form a blueprint of our reality, and yet we don't often realize how much control we have over them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share 4 tools that you can use now to start to apply some parts to help you in the facet of the mind. Number 1 is mindfulness, and this allows you to shift your focus into the present moment, reducing mental clutter, increasing awareness. You can begin by incorporating mindfulness into your daily activities. And so, for example, just coming into that present moment when you're eating or paying attention to flavors and textures brings you back into a space of mindfulness, and it takes you out of the past and future thinking. Number 2 is challenging your negative thoughts. Start by recognizing negative self-talk and consciously replacing it with affirmations. So instead of saying, I can't do this, using the phrase, I am capable, I am worthy of success. This simple tool can help rewire your subconscious mind on a regular basis. It's just up to us as individuals to flag the negative thoughts and replace them. It's a habit. It's a process that we've got to pay attention to over and over and over, but it can help us move toward a positive outlook. Number 3 is journaling for clarity. So journaling, just like we're doing today, helps you to be able to freely express your thoughts and your emotions, but it also can help you move into that space of reflection to uncover hidden beliefs or patterns that might be affecting you in your decision making. And it's a powerful tool for mental clarity and emotional healing. The last one that I love is visualization. This actually helps your thoughts with your goals. And by picturing a successful outcome, you actually activate your brain's neural pathways to increase motivation and confidence in achieving that goal. Now, supplementing with these tools consistently actually does reprogram the mind, and it helps you unlock a vast potential within you. And as we've done scientific studies on neuroplasticity, it's incredibly powerful, but it really is, like I said, up to us as individuals to start to create new habits and break the old patterns. So, journaling question number 1 for the mind is, how often do I find myself lost in thoughts that don't serve me? Number 2, do I feel in control of my mental state, or do my thoughts feel scattered and chaotic? Number 3, what are the reoccurring beliefs or patterns I notice in my life that may be limiting my growth? And number 4, when was the last time I truly took time for mental clarity, and how did it impact my well-being? And just as importantly as each of these facets is working into the other, we're just going to keep moving forward, because as we build a healthy mind, we build a healthy heart, we build a healthy body, we then in turn are building a healthy spirit. And so let's dive into the spirit. Spirit is what connects you to your higher self and that divine soul essence of who you are. It's the source of inspiration, that purpose, that meaning. And Eckhart Tolle is one of my favorite authors, and in his book, The Power of Now, he emphasizes the importance of a spiritual connection. You are not your mind, he says. You are the awareness behind the mind. And so by connecting to your spirit, you can transcend through these limiting beliefs of the mind and some of those illusionary or incorrect emotions of the heart. And then we can access our true potential. So to nourish the spirit, meditation is so powerful. It helps calm the mind and connect to a higher state of awareness. And so even if you start with a few minutes a day by focusing on your breath and allowing your thoughts to just come and go without attachment, this is something that can help also bring that body into a state of peace, but also open up that crown chakra. It can open up that awareness to begin to bring in greater clarity and awareness of maybe decisions that you need to make in your life, maybe parts of your body that need attention. And it really is an incredible practice. Number 2 on the tools of the spirit is gratitude. We hear gratitude being so important all the time, but it really is. It is so incredibly powerful, and it helps shift your energy to a higher vibration. When we look at the frequency energetically of gratitude, it is so powerful of what it does on a scientific level to the actual cells and DNA of the body. And when we're moving in this higher vibrational states of gratitude, of pure love, we can actually shift the stories of what's going on at that molecular structure within the body. Another thing that we can do, and in the gratitude practice, I just suggest that maybe you pick 3 to 5 things every single day. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but maybe before you go to bed, think about 5 things that went really well for you that day. Or maybe if something didn't go well for you that day and you had a really hard day, think about the 5 things that made your day so much easier for that day. Because typically when we sit and we reflect, even if things are very hard, when we start to bring in more of that sunlight, that high frequency vibration, it will naturally shift the other parts of who we are. So that body, heart, mind connection. Another practice is engaging with nature. When you spend time in nature, it reconnects you to the earth. It fosters that spiritual grounding. And so whether it's a walk in the park or a hike in the mountains, nature really can restore your spirit. So as far as your journaling questions, number 1, what brings me a sense of purpose and connection to something greater than myself? Number 2, how often do I take time to nourish my spirit or connect with my higher self? Number 3, what spiritual practices, if any, do I regularly engage in to maintain inner peace and alignment? And number 4, when I reflect on my life, do I feel I am in alignment with my true self or purpose? The next facet of wholeness I wanted to cover is energy. We are energetic beings, and every thought, word, action emits a frequency. Nikola Tesla famously said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This is such great advice, and when we align our energy with positive vibrations, we open the door to abundance, good health, and personal empowerment. So here are a few tools to help you raise your energy. And energy healing has played such a huge role in my life, and not only for my own personal healing and transformation, but in the work that I do with others. There are so many modalities out there, but techniques like Reiki or acupuncture, chakra balancing really can help you remove energetic blockages and restore balance. So huge piece of the puzzle. And it's also important to surround yourself with positivity. So whether it is uplifting music, supportive people, or inspiring content, surround yourself with high frequency energy that nurtures and uplifts you. And many times we get stuck on social media. We may see the news. You may be around people that tend to get into a really negative vibration. And so it's important to begin to learn how to create those boundaries, but also create a boundary for yourself. And a decision that I made decades ago, it was probably very early on into my healing journey, that a mentor of mine had actually suggested to stop watching the news. It was a very powerful decision that I had made in my life at that time, to stop surrounding myself with negativity. And instead of spending my time in that arena where there were news features, and at that time, we really weren't into the social media era. We were just barely getting into the space of having cell phones, but now watching that journey evolve and see how lightning speed our technological advances have been. There is negativity all over, whether you're on social media or the internet. And so even though we can go, oh, I'm not going to watch the news, sometimes we have to create time limits or unfollow certain sources that are creating really negative influences. And the third thing that I wanted to share is mindful breathing. When we focus on the breath, it actually helps calm the nervous system. And when the physical aspect of the body, the nervous system is in a calm state, it helps raise the energy levels. The body and the energy fields are these beautiful communication centers back and forth. And so when we can communicate to the body, I am safe, we also communicate to the energy field to move into that higher state of frequency. And when we can move the energy bodies, like I said, through that process of energy healing or high vibrational modalities and techniques to raise our energy, we actually also in turn affect the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual fields. So consciously raising your energy frequency and creating that environment that is conducive to healing, growth, and abundance really is super powerful. So let's go over the journaling questions. Number 1, what is the general energy I feel in my life right now? Positive, negative, or neutral? Number 2, how does the energy around me, people, environment, media affect my own energy? Number 3, do I feel in control of my own personal energy, or do I often feel depleted or overwhelmed? So this journal question can actually be a really great bridge into the last facet of wholeness that I wanted to talk about, and that's relationships. Many times when we are in relationships with other people, we can get into a space of feeling drained. We can feel like we're in a space of having negative influences around us. And so relationships really can affect our physical bodies. It can affect our emotions, our mind, our spirit, our energy fields. And so I'll get into a tool that you can use in just a moment, but our relationships are also a mirror through which we can see ourselves. And Dr. Harriet Lerner, the author of The Dance of Anger, says we are all shaped by our relationships with others, both the loving and difficult ones. And healthy relationships nourish us while toxic ones drain our energy, just like I said. And healing our relationships with others and ourselves is crucial for personal growth. So some of those important tools. Number 1, set healthy boundaries. And I'll get into a podcast episode that gives you a little bit more information about this, but establishing boundaries to protect your energy field and your well-being is so important. Learning to say no when it's necessary, communicating your needs clearly, using your voice, but also using compassion. The second one is practice active listening. So when you're in a conversation, giving your speaker full attention, validating their feelings, their voice. In this process of active listening, it fosters deeper connection and understanding. And then the third tool that I wanted to share for relationships is cultivating self-love. The foundation of all healthy relationships is self-love. So when we practice self-care, compassion, we affirm our personal worthiness. When we love and value self, we attract relationships that reflect the same respect. But as we love ourselves, we also impact that energy, our spirit, our heart, our mind, and our bodies. So just like I've talked about, as a whole, these facets work together in improving our overall health. So when we improve our relationships, we create an environment of love, support, and personal growth. But also improvement in all of those other areas. As we're wrapping up, I'm going to go ahead and share the last journaling questions in relationships. And the first one is, how would I describe my relationship with myself? Am I kind and compassionate to myself? Number 2, are there any relationships in my life that drain my energy or leave me feeling disconnected? Number 3, how am I currently nurturing the relationships that are most important to me? And then number 4 is, in what ways do I show love and appreciation to the people closest to me? And I would also put yourself in that as well. How do I show love and appreciation to myself? As we wrap up for today, I really appreciate you joining this episode with a topic that is so incredibly important to me, and that is the holistic aspects of who we are, these facets of wholeness, our being, our bodies, our hearts, minds, spirits, energy, and the relationships that we have with ourselves and others. By truly nurturing each of these areas, we really do find this true well-being that comes from within. And as we create this harmony and balance in our lives, we really do gain a greater insight. Now, remember, healing isn't just about treating symptoms, and it's not an overnight process. This is a work in progress. This is an evolving journey, being able to show up and be an advocate for ourselves. So if you are ready to dive deeper into a journey of holistic healing, I always invite you to join me at discoveringdivinity.com, where you're going to find more of those resources. But also, always, I am here to support you through one-on-one sessions where we can work remotely on Zoom or via phone or in my office if you're local, to help you discover those roots in order to move forward on your holistic healing journey and path. So thank you so much for joining me as we have been learning a little bit more of how to align the facets of wholeness in our own lives for true well-being. And I am looking forward to having you join me in our next episode. Thank you for listening to the Discover Divinity Podcast. If this podcast resonates with you, I invite you to check out discoveringdivinity.com. You will find resources to reclaim your sacred, sovereign spirituality. Here, you can join the Discover Divinity community, where we have free online community classes, as well as done-for-you courses and programs. Navigating the unique personal path to wholeness can feel overwhelming at times. If you would like further support or are ready to take your healing empowerment to the next level, I offer one-on-one intuitive sessions in a variety of different packages where we will discover, release, create, reclaim. Discover your innate wisdom that lies within. Release the imbalances that prevent you from living your truth. Create harmony in body, heart, mind, spirit, energy, and relationships. Reclaim your sovereign soul. It is time to discover new possibilities. It is time to discover you.